What the fuck?
Welcome to Taste Like Tea, a podcast in which I talk about myself. My name is Theo. Don't call me Ted. Today we're doing a little drive along. I have to do a couple of things. And by have to, I mean I want to get some stuff done before my partner gets out of work. Mostly because I have to go to the library and ask when the fuck my book is due. Because that is something I'm unsure of. It's either due today or it's due next week, and either way I need to figure that out. Because I decided to read Titus Andronicus, and I had a second book that I had to finish first about women writers before the year 1850. Anyway, I'm doing a podcast about myself. I am an individual. I exist with perspectives and opinions, etc., etc. And I am here to share them in a selfish, I don't know. I'm alone in a car talking about things I like. It's not much more complex than that, really. I don't know. Are those kids that just got dropped off at a bus stop? That's not good. I might have left a few minutes later than I should have. Yep, that's a school bus. So this is going to be a tedious drive home, but I guess that's a good thing for you. Or maybe not, I don't know. Maybe you like shorter episodes, but what am I going to be talking about today? Films, probably, primarily. I watch films every day. I watch at least one film a day. And I write about them and post them on the internet. And that wasn't enough for me. And now I also talk about them, because if I don't, then all I do is overwhelm my Dungeons and Dragons group with random tidbits about really weird films I watch. And since I started doing this, it's been kind of a good balance. So conversations flow, and it's nice. So this is a very useful thing for me, and I'm happy to be doing it. I wish I didn't feel so much pressure to figure it out. I wish I could just turn this on and just start talking and hope that I can figure something out. But every time I press record, I feel the need to decide on a structure. It's a podcast about me, but for some reason I can't not break the structure of, let me talk about X amount of films in this kind of way, even though that kind of way isn't consistent in any way, because I haven't actually figured that part out yet. But it's just kind of a thing I've been doing, and it feels good. anythingbutted@gmail.com if you want to reach out to me. It'll be cool if you did. I don't know why you would, but you have the option to. There's that's really the only way to reach out to me. I have a Letterboxd, which I link in every episode, but there's not really a way to have actual conversations on there unless it's about specific films, which is why I like it, because my hyper-specific fixation on certain things, it works when it's hey, someone is writing a review about a movie and I want to comment about something specifically about that movie. Boom. People to do it with. It's not as intuitive, but it's also not as algorithm ran. Anyway, I'm not trying to sell you Letterboxd. I'm just trying to talk about myself. anythingbutted@gmail.com if you want me to talk to you about myself. That's fun stuff. And today I actually I expected I was doing a double feature today. I thought maybe I was going to be able to, but my partner asked me to go get them some nachos, and I have a thing coming in the mail that I'm thinking maybe I could snipe, and on my way back, I can grab the DVDs from the library, or from the other library that I took out from, and drop those off as well. I'm kind of nervous. I know they probably won't be shitty about it, but 2 of the discs I took out, Scary Movie 4 and The Man Who Fell to Earth, the Criterion Collection. And as I was putting them in, I realized that the discs were cracked at the center, and I was too afraid to put them in my Xbox, because as much as I want to watch those movies on physical media, I just do not have the confidence to put it into my $800 Xbox, because I bought it during the scalping problems of the 2020s. I think we're still in that, but I don't think Xbox Series X's are going for $800 anymore. Can you believe that? It was cheaper for me to buy it actually technically wasn't cheaper overall, but I use a lot of like pay in 4 apps, so like Klarna and all that kind of stuff, to kind of make larger purchases, and it was cheaper for me to buy an $800 Xbox and pay for it in 4 payment increments than it was to just outright buy a used Xbox One X. And I had a first generation Xbox One, so I wasn't just gonna, I figured I might as well get something new. I might as well upgrade. There's no reason to downgrade, and I needed a disc drive. I think the One X doesn't have a disc drive, so it was probably a dumbass choice to begin with. I'm lying. I'm pretty sure the One S is the disc-free one. Anyway, yeah, isn't that crazy? But what was I talking about? I don't really know what I'm going to be talking about on a daily basis when I press record, and I had a post-it note written down of like 4 to 5 films I wanted to talk about, including a short, but then I, ended up driving around, and that's, as of right now, my structure for driving around is to talk about a single film, a single one-stop film. I was considering doing a double feature instead because I couldn't decide what to talk about, but I decided to stick with one, and it kind of fucks up my next episode because technically that double feature just gets reduced down to a double feature and a short, because one of the 2 films in that double feature, which wasn't even technically a double feature, is the one I'm going to be talking about today. What film is that, you might be asking? Or not, depending on if you let this episode autoplay, or if you specifically clicked on it. I'm going to be talking about Happiness of the Katakuris. Katakuris? It's a Takashi Miike film that, it was just fucking bonkers, dude. The film is just so wild. I found it strictly because I listened to the Show Me Something Wrong podcast, and I actually just re-listened to it because I got bored of what I've been listening to and decided to go back to my favorite podcast, or one of, it's up there. They're the ones that I hold my breath for every week, hoping a new episode drops. But they got movies to make, so a podcast about movies isn't priority for them. For me, it doesn't matter because I haven't started making movies yet, which is a little depressing. But I will be reaching out to Wave Productions soon. They told me to hit them up in June, so I'm gonna message them soon and see if I can get some work, because that's pretty cool. Imagine by the end of this summer I could have been worked on a movie or been in a movie. It's such a long shot, but it's the fact that it's such a small company that's local to me. It's in New Jersey, and honestly, I love the idea of the films they make. I'm not going to get into Wave too deep because I'm trying to fluff with some jib-jabbing because That's something that I wish I did more on this podcast, instead of just blindly fucking talking about something in an incoherent way. I listen to my episodes, and I think they're pretty coherent, but I'm also listening to myself, and I have the same thinking process as myself, so I can kind of, nod away and go, yeah, that is a good point, or, yeah, I do like that. But Wave Productions is something I'm very excited to pursue a lot more, just because the more I look into like how films are made, the less I'm interested in like big budget like Hollywood films, because when I'm thinking about making stuff like anything, it all other than like the bottomless imagination that money can allow, it's more or less like the grimier the better, honestly. And I want to meet Tina Kraus, so maybe I could knock off two birds with one stone with that. I would love to meet Tina Kraus. That would be amazing. So I'm talking about The Happiness of the Katakuris, a Japanese film directed by Takashi Miike. Takashi Miike is known for some pretty extreme films. Audition, I think, is his highest rated one, followed by Ichi the Killer, which is an adaptation of a graphic novel. I got a new tire, by the way. Remember how I was like, I hate the sound of this tire, I'm pretty sure it's fucking up my balance, rotation, or whatever. Yeah, it's fixed. We got it. So, Happiness of the Katakuris is directed by Takashi Miike, which is weird, right? Takashi Miike, I associate, with the fact that Ichi the Killer and Audition are his biggest films, and maybe it's arguable with Ichi the Killer, but that he is primarily a horror director. At least in my eyes, he's seen as I see him as a horror director. I don't know how on the nose that is, how true it is, because I've only seen 2 of his films now, including Happiness of Katakuri. And right, where was I? Sorry, I'm restructuring what I said, and I just realized I was talking about how I came to find The Happiness of the Katakuris. It's through the podcast Show Me Something Wrong, where one of the hosts, director of Cat Sick Blues, Dave Jackson, was like, yeah, one of my favorite, most watchable Takashi Miike films is Happiness of the Katakuri, and he said it's more of a family comedy than it is a horror film. And it just piqued my interest. How do you do that? Oh no. Oh no. Don't do it, truck. Dump truck fucking merging, going 12 miles an hour. So I put it on the list. I said, let me check it out. And then recently I was going through films that I kind of wanted to watch, and I happened upon Happiness of the Katakuris, and I thought, hell yeah, let's give it a shot. It's finally time. And I loved it. I really loved it. It's so what is it? I don't really know exactly. So I guess the best thing I could do is walk you through some key points. And it's supposed to be a family comedy, but it's also a horror, and it's also a musical. Yeah, and it's hilarious and fucked up and kind of horrifying and unsettling. So the Katakuris is a family, right? They're a family of people. Father, a wife. How many children do they have? I think they have 3 children. They have like an itty-bitty child. I can't remember now. Jesus Christ. Pretty sure there's a son, a daughter, and then a younger daughter. Don't you love when people in the left lane don't understand how passing works? It's great. Adding on to my things I judge you for if you're driving that way, being in the left lane going the speed limit is definitely one of those things. Sorry, I'm just intentionally blocking this dude for driving like a dick, because I am a dickhead myself. So the family of Katakuris is a family of people. The family of Katakuris is a family of people that they owned a guest house, like a bed and breakfast, out in the like farmland, like rural-ish Japan, and they're just looking for people to rent their rooms out to. They spent their entire family's money, and like as a family they went in and said, hey, let's open up this family run guest house, and that's what they do. And you know, maybe I missed some dialogue in the beginning, but I don't think they necessarily say anything about it like going wrong, like, but I'm assuming they're kind of like, they're in that phase of like, oh my god, a customer, everybody, we can finally talk to some, like that scene in Cars. Like that scene in Cars where the Porsche is like, oh my god, why don't you come in and talk, like, spend money everywhere you want, and all this and that. They kind of have that energy whenever people walk up to them, and the other reason I'm assuming they're desperate is because of who they take in. Maybe it's the description, because the thing is, the blurb kind of gives a lot of it away, but not in a spoiler way. It's just kind of like a classic Japanese blurb where it kind of just, the plot is not the main focus of the film. The plot is what gets the film going. And that's a really weird thing to say, but when it comes to these kinds of films, like, I've noticed that's a common thing with like a lot of Japanese and Chinese films, is like, they will walk you through the plot step by step, but that doesn't prepare you for what the film is. In this case, it still doesn't. But I guess let me run through the blurb a little bit. It tells you about the guests. The film has 3 sets of guests. 2 are spoken about in the blurb. The first guest is a man who ends up killing himself on the night that he checks in. And that following morning is really where the film like kicks off into like ultimate like what the fuck mode, because the family walks in. I think it's the older son. I'm starting to question, maybe there's a second son as well. Anyway, one of the sons walks in, and he's like trying to like wake up the customer to like bring him down for breakfast, or bring up breakfast or something like that. It's like classic bed and breakfast stuff where part of the experience is being interacted with, which is scary in my opinion, but maybe there's ones that are more comfortable. But so he wakes up and sees that there's a dead body, and he freaks the fuck out. And this is when the musical starts, because he sees the dead body and then he reacts really extreme, oh, and then lights start, strobe lights start going off, and the lights just completely change. The color palette changes. Everything that was white is now black. Not in like it went negative, but kind of like the film is really bright and happy, and it has all these really white like lens flares, kind of like when Dante from Devil May Cry 5 gets his dick blocked. Maybe it wasn't Dante, maybe it was Virgil that happened to. But that classic like Japanese thing, it's not Japanese specifically, but like where they'll place something in front of it, but in this case it's just like, I'm not even talking about censorship here, I'm just talking about the visual effect. It's very bright, it's very colorful, but in like a springtime way. And then the second the musical starts, the lights get dim, the energy changes from like all happy-go-lucky, like basically I don't know where I was going with that, but super happy-go-lucky and just really enthusiastic, to just like screaming and dancing and flailing around. And as the family members come in, the musical stops and they'll be like, what's going on? And then they'll see the body and the music will kick back in and they'll start singing and dancing. And it's so bizarre. But what happens is the father and all the family kind of together, because that's the whole thing, is they're a family that works together. That's their thing. They work together, they live together, they help each other. They are a unit. So the father decides, we can't let this get out. Like, we can't have our first guest be a dead body, because that's going to be a problem for PR. He doesn't say PR, but that's kind of what it's about. It's just like the public eye and how they're seen. So they instinctively bury the dead body in their backyard. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't too surprising for me because I read the blurb at that point, but it's just such a like hard turn. Like, everything from the moment this dude walks into the building and that scene of them burying the body, everything from that in between is the most staggering fucking thing. Like, I was cracking up and like squirming around, and like I was all over the place with this, and it was such a crazy experience. So then they hide the body. Life goes on. They're back to living their life. There's definitely some like it's like a slice of life kind of movie when it's not singing, dancing, and death, which is just so bizarre. Like, every time I think about it, it's so like I need to watch it again. And that's what I said in my review, is like, I need to show this to people. Like, this isn't a film that I can just tell people about, like what I'm doing to you. You need to fucking see this thing, because I don't know if you could handle non-English films, if you could handle a little bit of grossness, like the Japanese love their underage girls, you know, like it's just a thing. And it's not even that gratuitous in this film. It's just a thing that this film focuses on. Which gets to my next point. Their second guests. Their second guests are two people. A couple. A famous sumo wrestler. They don't give a name. I don't know if he's actually a famous sumo wrestler. But in the film, he is a famous sumo wrestler that the family recognizes. And his underage girlfriend. Which is specified in... Never really in the film. But it's very much specified in the blurb on Letterboxd, where it says specifically that he has an underage girlfriend. And it's icky, you know, like it's not gross and uncomfortable icky. It's played for laughs in a sense, but it's just so not what I'm used to seeing. Maybe, I don't know, but they're you know, other than the age gap, they're kind of a happy couple. You know, like the girl is hopping around and laughing and stuff, and the guy is not being a dick to her or anything. Like, it seems to be a pretty solid relationship. But they get up to the room. The family is like, or I think the wife specifically walks them up, and they're, all right, here's your room. Here are your two beds, because you probably don't want to sleep together. And then sumo wrestler guy just starts groping this girl and throws her onto the bed and starts kissing at her. And yeah, it's a thing to experience. And that's where I was a little uncomfortable, where I'm like, so they're just gonna, like, they're not even hesitating with this, which is fine, you know, like it's Takashi Miike. Ichi the Killer's title card is semen. So, like, you know, a sumo wrestler dry humping a 15-year-old girl is not the most far-fetched thing to be in this film. So it cuts to like time passing, and it shows the family hearing them have sex and being very uncomfortable with the situation, because they're like, there's no way that girl's of age, right? And they're hearing like the So they know what's going on, and then it cuts up to them. The sumo wrestler fucking comes, and he gives off like a crazy like Dennis from Sunny kind of like cum face when he like tricks a girl into having sex with her. That like and it's just like eye contact with the camera, but in like a Dan Aykroyd goofy kind of way instead of a gross like eye bulging kind of way. And while he's finishing, he has a fucking heart attack and dies. And that's just it. The family finds him the next day dead on the bed. And you might be wondering, what about the girl? You know, she didn't have a heart attack. She could have said something. She is so tiny, and he is so large that when he had his heart attack, he just died on top of her, and she suffocated under him. Like I said, fucked. Bizarre, fucked, bonkers, whatever word you want to use. That's what this film is. It's so crazy. It's just so fucking wild to think about. It's not even that wild. Like, I'm pretty sure it's been shown in other films. Like, you know, a fat guy dies and then the tiny person under them suffocates. There's many jokes from many shows and many movies about that. But this film, you know, like I said, it's like a slice of life family comedy. But then you see the dead girl under the fucking dead. Like they have a mannequin made. It looks like a CPR dummy. The way her mouth is open, it kind of looks like they repurposed a CPR dummy to look like this little girl. And it's just her dead body under a large mass of skin. Like, it's just really unsettling. Was it? So the family finds them, and they're like, we just got to keep it going. There's nothing else we can do. So they bury the body, except, fat jokes ensue. Maybe it's not even fat jokes, but maybe just like a comment on like how hard it is to move a large man. And sumo wrestlers are notoriously large. Maybe not notoriously, respectfully large. So they struggled to get him out of the house and into the ground. So there's a whole sequence of them figuring out how to get him out the window without like fucking up the body too bad. And they're doing like this thing where they try and lower him out from the window down into the ground, and he's too heavy and they fucking drop him, and the body just fucking clonks right on the fucking ground. I remember being very shocked by it. When I say it out loud, it's probably not that crazy, but I remember being very shocked when I saw it. Like, of course it's gonna happen. I don't know what's happening. Crazy. I'm almost to the library, and so that's where the blurb ends, right? It's about it ends at the sumo wrestler dying and being hid. All that musical stuff and stuff that I added that's bonkers and crazy and over the top, that's all stuff that's not in the blurb, and I couldn't contain myself because as much as I wanted to separate the blurb from the discussion of the film, it's hard not to because it's just so crazy. The sumo wrestler's dead. They bury the bodies. They have 3 bodies in a mass grave. If you count 3 bodies in a mass grave, it's all in the same hole. And they mark it on. They have like a little miniature of their lands in their foyer, and they put a little gravestone where they buried the body, which is really fucked up because you're kind of showcasing to anybody who enters that building that like something is there. Like if it was a video game and you showed me that little miniature, I would go, hey, what's that oddly shaped marking right there? So then, shit, am I gonna make this? Yeah, it looks like I am. That's crazy. Made the light. They bury the bodies. They have more like family fun time. There's a lot more singing and a lot more dancing, and it's really just all over the place. And then another family comes, an entire family. They show up in the rain. It's a really depressing, like a depressed looking family. They're all wet and like exhausted and hunched over. There's like 2 or 3 children in the family. They're all very young. The mother and father are just beat to hell. They are so tired. And they're like, yeah, 1 room, please, 1 room. And they're like, would you like 2? Because of how many you are. And they go, no, just your cheapest single room, please. And I guess to the Katakuris, they're like, shit. Like, I know they were probably just upselling, but when they see a small family depressingly go and enter a single cheapest room in their home, in their guest house, they just assume the worst. And then as they're going up the stairs, the mother turns around and goes, do you have a strong cord? I think she says strong cord. She's asking for, like, you know, I mean, the word strong cord probably tells you what she's asking for. I took it as like a string or a rope or something, but they literally give her like a wire. And they're convinced. I think they even say like, oh, it's for the boy. It's for the little child boy. And they are convinced that they're gonna fucking strangle this child and kill themselves. That's just what they're convinced is gonna happen. And then the film goes on. The next day happens. They're all convinced that this family's going to be dead. I think they even prep the hole in the ground. I think, yeah, that was a big comedy beat for that moment. Is they're like, oh well, we're going to have to find room for this massive family, and they start digging up the hole and opening it up more. And while they're doing that, the family wakes up and goes and finds them and thanks them, and you know, nothing happened. Nothing bad happened. They just they took the night, they slept, and then they were on their way. They just couldn't afford an expensive whatchamacallit. Does this library have a drop-off in the front door? Because I keep going in through the back, and I don't really ever notice if there's a drop-off here. Oh, there is. Okay, cool. I'm not going to do that today because I have to go inside and ask a question, but yeah, words and things. So, I'm going to leave it right there for now. I'm going to be back in a few seconds. For you, it's not going to be any time at all. But I am going to run into the library, drop off this book, ask how long I have on this other book, and maybe I'll check out the new movies. Maybe they got something. Alright, that was easier than I thought it would be. My book isn't due until the 30th, and apparently libraries auto-renew the checkout if you don't bring it back right away. I'm not going to take advantage of that because I do not trust it. But for this book, I'm going to try and rip through it in the week and hopefully get it back before the 30th. If not, she assured me I am good. So, what happened? I think I'm supposed to go to Taco Bell. Maybe I have to go to the Taco Bell after. Do Do you want to hear me go to Taco Bell? Nah. Maybe. No. I'll pause it. I'm gonna pull into the parking lot, jam out a quick mobile order. Or maybe I'll run in and do it that way. Nah. I'll jam out a quick mobile order and then, hit the drive-thru. Are you letting me go? Thank you. So, the family wakes up and, yeah, that's right. I remember where the fuck I was. I stopped at a very particular point. The family wakes up and finds the Katakuris digging a big grave. You don't see any of the bodies or anything. It's just like them digging a hole, and it's just really big. And the little girl goes and like finds them first and is like, "Hey, what is that?" And they're like, "Holy shit, you're alive!" They obviously don't say it. They're Japanese. Yeah, so that's the end of that. Like they didn't die. They didn't kill themselves, and they are. And the cord that they asked for their son, he just needed a belt. My man just needed a fucking belt. Yeah, he just needed a belt. So it shows that the cord is a belt, and it was good. So then how does the film end? I've been trying to kind of figure that part out because I sort of don't remember. Bitch, I'm not trying to check in. I'm trying to make a fucking order on Taco Bell right now. So the film ends with like a weird police like shootout almost. What happens is it's dumb as fuck that Taco Bell doesn't. Yeah, dumb as fuck. So, I really don't know how it happened. I think I looked away or something. Maybe I was typing out part of my review. I can't really figure out what happened. But, a serial killer ended up showing up. Maybe he was like the next guest or something like that. But a serial killer shows up and takes a hostage. And I'm pretty sure the Katakuris aren't like aware of this happening, but they are. They end up getting pulled into it. I think because like the killer runs into their house and takes a hostage in their house, and the police are there. And it just turns into this whole standoff. Like the film had no reason to end up being a police standoff. But that's exactly what happened. So, what is it? They catch the killer, and I don't think, again, maybe I just didn't catch it. I'm pretty sure, blame all the deaths. Like they use the serial killer that showed up as, a way of getting away from being accused of murdering people. I can't think of the words right for that. But the Katakuris live happily ever after. The killer is gone, and they don't have to worry about anything anymore. And the movie's over. There's also claymation that happens, which was really a crazy way to open and close the film. I would love to go into that, but really, almost everything about this film that I am in love with is stuff you have to fucking see for yourself. There's no way you can just do it, So, yeah, I mean, that's Happiness of the Katakuris. It's fucked, but in like the funniest ways possible. I really loved it. It was such a great film. Anythingbutted@gmail.com if you want to reach out and tell me why I should be doing more films I dislike, because that was what this episode was supposed to be. It was half dislike, half like, and I fucked that up for myself. Ooh. No, I'm doing that. Yeah. So anythingbutted@gmail.com if you want to reach out to me. You're apparently not going to be getting my Taco Bell order. You're not going to hear me do that because I am putting in the order now, and I'm going to be done by the time I end this stream, this recording. So, yeah, if you want to reach out, do that. If not, don't. I'm hopefully going to have a what I watched out of my next episode, but, time tells lies. And that's about it. You have been listening to Taste Like Tea, a podcast about me. He am I am me, and me is tea.